Do you mind going over what it was that uh, that you're pointing to on Okta situation that was process procedure and how that applies to mid-enterprise CPG companies?
Yeah, let me. It is, this is just finding a weak link in your supply chain, which are your people, and basically paying somebody that has elevated access to give, let the bad guys use that elevated access to get access to your network. This wasn't nation states, deciphering, looking for weaknesses in infrastructure or finding holes or anything like that. They just, I mean, this is, if this turns out to be the end of it, how this really happened, you can't, you can't buy a system that would prevent this, right? This is all about procedures, being able to go through and do monitoring, making sure people are following the rules, being able to judge it. Is much infrastructure as you can throw in, and you could, like I said, you can throw in the fanciest tools. If you're not monitoring, from your internal threats as much as your external threats, I think it's really going to be fascinating to go through and really understand. And I think that this also goes through for Microsoft is they're going to have to answer where did their processes fall apart? Where did their procedures fall apart to allow this type of access to come from the inside? It really, it's going to be interesting. And I don't want to speculate too much. We're just kind of in the beginning of this. But everything, the things that come out right now is both Microsoft and Okta are like, this wasn't breaches to our systems. Nobody got through the code. Nobody, it wasn't a fault in our software or hardware or that side of it. So this is, I think the tale is this, it is about process and procedure. And I think that this is where we start talking to, CPG companies and start talking to service companies and start saying, it's before somebody comes in and starts going back to your point, Henry, before you start investing in high-end security solutions and start listening to vendors that it's, you need a better, the problem is you need a better hammer, you need to buy, better hardware, you need to buy better software. Start with your policies and procedures. Make sure that those are down. And, the tools are great. They can do a lot of things. They can do a lot of things faster and give you a lot more visibility. But it really comes down to the basics of how you handle the data, how you set up people, how you delegate your roles and responsibilities and your security. It's really kind of basic.
Yeah, I think not speculating is a good idea, Dave, just as new information's coming in. But this kind of reminds me of, the guy that was crossing the street that's dying in the crosswalk saying, I was walking, I was in the crosswalk, but, didn't look both ways. Car hit him anyway, and he's dead. This is kind of the same situation that, they were playing by the rules. They weren't quote unquote hacked, by 0 day or anything like that. But the result is the result. Mm-hmm. So,
if I could throw in a couple of things. One is whether you're an Okta customer or not, pay attention and learn from it. Mm-hmm. And this, any size company could benefit by learning from what happened and why did it happen. So the impact is already there. It doesn't matter if you've been hacked or not. It doesn't matter, but it's the fact is that it's going to grab so much attention, and people are going to have to stop what they're doing and look at whether this has an impact on them. And for those who don't necessarily think they had an impact, think about your suppliers, think about your partners, think about your employees at home, think about, contractors, all that kind of stuff. So, learn from it. I think what always fascinates me is there's always a way in, always. And usually it's people are the weakest link. when it comes down to it. Somebody did, whether they proactively did something or mistakenly did something. You know, I'm fascinated because SolarWinds had a similar thing, if I recall, was that, you know, employees make mistakes and they have access. And when they have access and they make mistakes, it's a bigger impact. And so until we learn how to close those things, you know, sort of like a bank, you close the vault, and the employees can't get back in the vault without multi-factor, usually more than one guy and probably some guy with a gun. And so, you know, until we learn how to do that digitally, you know, we're going to continue to see these kind of things and these companies being targeted. I think it's too early to speculate. I agree. And I also would caution, you know, nation states have a way of making it look like it's not nation states. And so you also have to be careful about that too, and especially if you're a company that uses Okta, you know, and they come in through a derivative way into your company, so, or into agency or whatever it is. So that would be the takeaway that I see on this. Now, if you're a mid-sized company, having somebody who could decipher what this is a good thing. And are you organized to handle whatever the impact may be? It may be no impact, but there is an impact. Somebody has to explain something at every company. Oh, we're not impacted. Okay, why are we not impacted? Well, we don't use Okta. Okay, you know, it's that kind of thing. So do you have the right people who can ask the questions, and can you dig a little deeper than what the press releases say?